Hey everyone, and welcome to CSE Tech Talks. I'm Joel, and today with me, I have a very special guest, Brother Willden.
Hey, I'm Brother Willden. I've been at BYU, Idaho for about a year and a half, going on 2 years, so it's pretty fun. I've been teaching a lot of computer science classes. So,
computer science, like software?
Yep, a lot of software development, and then AI has been becoming a huge thing. So we've spun up a couple of AI classes for the second semester in a row, and next semester we'll spin up a few more too.
Great. I think we're going to dive in on the AI thing. But so, yeah, by way of background, as I understand, you actually studied at BYU Idaho too, right?
Yep. So studied at BYU Idaho, and then after graduation, I worked on campus at BYU Idaho doing software development for about 4 years, and went over to a startup and led a team of software engineers there for about 3 years, and then went to Clearwater and Boise and led a couple of software teams for about 3 years also. It's pretty fun.
Oh, wow. All right. Sweet. And I guess the big hot topic is, of course, AI.
Yep.
So, yeah, that's a very broad subject, but can you talk a little bit about what your experience is and where maybe your background in AI?
Yeah, so when I was at Clearwater, AI became a thing, and it kind of took the world over really quickly, and the company decided to just invest millions of dollars of time and projects and resources into it. And my boss gave me a choice. He said, you could choose to join me in this AI race, or you could take my old job and be a director, basically. And I thought about it hard with my wife, and I decided to join him in the AI race. And we built tons of AI agents before they were called agents. And we were building these things in the finance world. And so we got really deep into AI. And then coming to education, it's been a little bit different, how to teach the students how to speak the AI language and how to work with it. And that has been its own kind of challenge. And now we're in the stage where everybody's afraid that AI is going to take over every job. And it's kind of interesting. The truth is, like, it's hard to tell, but I think humans being able to have really good critical thinking and human relationships is a skill that I think is always going to be there.
So probably it's not completely over for humanity.
No, definitely
not. Okay, good. Phew. And as I understand it, with AI being a broad field, you've got, and then you have different types of things. You have like large language models, and then computer vision, transformers. I kind of get some of those mixed up. I use large language models a lot as tutoring. I find that really helpful. But in your career, where did you kind of focus, and like what kind of projects did you put together?
Yeah, so large language model we did a lot with. We basically integrated that into the existing software. And then on the other side, we would also train traditional machine learning models. Like in the finance world, you're dealing with a lot of transactions. So we built a model to determine if a transaction was a garbage transaction or not. So part of the reconciliation process, they would... reconcilers would have to manually tag them, and we just automatically did it, and they would just clean up some of the mistags. So that was on the traditional machine learning side. The large language model, it is so hard to have something be 100% predictable every time. So a lot of the challenge was to figure out how to prompt it correctly to have a higher probability of it being predictable.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I think some people have been trying to make large language models output valid JSON or something. And, all kinds of funny things like that. And even in my very light experiments, maybe I didn't quite set it up right, but I've still had trouble.
Oh yeah.
It was funny. I was like trying to apply to a role somewhere that required experience with the Gemini API, and they really wanted that skill. So I started messing around with it, and I was like, Yeah.
Honestly,
So
the more you tinker
yeah.
around with it, honestly,
Yeah.
you can't go wrong with it. So
Nice. Okay. And so yeah, I guess traditional machine learning has been a thing for quite some time, but it's
Yeah.
only in the last couple of years that large language models kind of
took
really
over the world.
took over the world. When you were in education, was there any AI
No, not
kind of
really.
thing, or
Not really. We just had Google and Stack Overflow, so we just
Yeah.
got really good at Googling. But honestly, if you look a little bit deeper than the technology, it is more about the skill of using your resources to find answers out and to solve problems. That one
yeah.
was the deeper skill. So today we have AI, but it's still the same deeper skill.
Right, of learning.
Are you
I
able to
guess.
solve
Yeah.
real business problems? Are
Right.
you able to really ingrain new concepts and theories into your head and efficiently? So
Okay, and that ties in perfectly with education. So you've been here teaching at BYU Idaho, and how have you seen students use AI correctly or incorrectly?
Yeah, I've seen it across the board. There are, I see it as a spectrum of students. You have on one side the AI haters; they will not touch it, and it's unethical in their mind. All the way to those who probably rely on it too much, where maybe that is a little more unethical of how much they're relying on it. so you kind of see this huge spectrum, and I believe. This is observation. I don't have data to prove it. I believe it's more of a normal distribution where most students are within kind of the middle range. Maybe they use it. Some of them use it a lot more than others, but they're more in the middle. But what I have seen is if students use it as a quick way to generate an output or to do the assignment, they're kind of robbing themselves of the opportunity to challenge their mind. So if they use it as a way to challenge their mind, for example, like having it generate quizzes or problems for you, or if you're in coding, have it generate code that is flawed and you have to manually go find the bugs in it. Like using it to strengthen your mind, I think is going to be a lot more beneficial in the education space for them.
Yeah, a lot of people I've seen some talk about is education keeping up with AI enough, but I guess it kind of sounds like maybe the real answer is it's up to the student to ensure they're learning, I guess, even at the university level, right?
Yeah, I think the student needs to take the self-responsibility to drive their own future and realize education is a way to help teach you how to learn almost, and teach you how to solve problems and become critical thinkers. But a lot of that's on the student.
And for any students that really want to make sure they're learning, sometimes it can be hard to tell whether you're actually learning or if you're just what the young people would say coping. You know, am I actually learning this, or am I using it as a crutch? Do you know of any rules of thumb for that?
Yeah, if you want to measure that, call your grandma up and try to explain what you just learned in class. Like it sounds ridiculous, but if she doesn't get it, then you don't know how to teach her. That means you probably didn't learn it.
I think that's seems like kind of a focus at BYU Idaho is like the learning model of can you teach this back? I've seen a lot of professors use that, so that's encouraging to hear about. Yeah, I think it makes me happy when I reflect back on the way I've been using AI in education, because a lot of the way that I've been really trying to make sure I'm actually learning and not just taking a shortcut matches a lot of what you just said. But I don't want I wouldn't want to be overconfident, I guess I could say. So I just recently put together a video on how to use AI in education correctly, but I'll be honest, I didn't actually run it past any experts before it went out to the big wide world. So actually, I was hoping maybe I could get your opinions on some of what my takes were on this video.
Cool.
All right, here we go. I'm going to break down for you the top 5 ways I've found to use AI in education correctly. Coming in at number 5, always use a thinking model. If I can't trust that the model knows the subject matter and is coming to the right conclusions, the whole thing just falls apart. Okay, yeah.
All right, let's talk
about reactions. So I'm opening with my spicy hot take.
All right, so your first point from the video was to always use a thinking model. So there are times where thinking models are appropriate, and I think there's times where it's overkill. If you're asking like what is 10 plus 10, and you fire on a thinking model, you might sit for a minute and a half while it reasons. And if you look at how reasoning models work, it's basically just talking and evaluating against itself over and over and over until the plan has been achieved. And there's different patterns how that. So it could take a minute and a half. So sometimes the fast models are really good at simple questions. And sometimes you need a really quick response. So if you're using voice AI, you probably don't want the thinking model because you want it to be more natural.
Right.
So it kind of depends on the situation. But for complex stuff, thinking is amazing. Like if I'm writing code or if I'm doing research or if I want it to come up with ideas or anything like that, thinking is phenomenal.
Okay. Phew. That's good to know.
So it depends, but a lot of times it is a great choice. So
I guess like with many things, it depends on the situation. But especially for me, when I think about new topics that I don't know if it's going to be lying to me. So I'm like, what's the greatest chance, But,
and actually, even the Grok 4.20 model spins up 4 agents on your query and it executes them. And one of them is a leader agent, and it will actually manage the other 3 agents as they go through the thinking process. And it just increases the probability of having more of an output that you want. So
interesting.
Clever take on it. So,
okay. Yeah. I'm sure there's a lot of research going on what are the most effective ways to take this technology and make it like the most accurate, and like what is truth question is kind of insane anyway. But seeing the different solutions to that is really fascinating. Like a leader agent, sub agents. I have an open claw instance that I text throughout the day, but I mostly at this point it's kind of just become I could have written this software to pull things from Canvas myself. But, but it's handy.
That's cool. That's cool.
But anyway, yeah.
All
okay,
right,
good to know. Let's keep going. Coming in at number 4, trust but verify. Question early and question often. Even though they're better, the highest thinking models are still susceptible to hallucination. If you're trying to follow the steps that the AI took through a problem and you really get stuck on something and it doesn't make sense, don't just accept it. Go back to the textbook and check, or edit your initial prompt a little for clarity and try to run it again. Sometimes I even debate ChatGPT, Gemini, and Grok against each other to check for a majority consensus. Feel free to ask the model to reanalyze something, or take a moment to search the web to ground its answer in more reliable sources. Okay.
All right, so your number 4 I thought was actually really interesting with the trust but verify. It's funny how that's a Russian proverb during the Cold War. But I think the idea behind it is don't 100% trust it, but to ground it in some sort of data or some examples or some data sources. So honestly, I almost always ask for links from reputable sources. You have to define what reputable means. Like, is a Reddit post from a random user reputable, or is something from like an industry celebrity reputable? Like, it kind of depends. So I always ask for a link. And actually, to be honest, Gemini is really good at generating links because it's Google, right?
Yeah.
And Grok is also really good at it too. Actually, all of them at this point are probably good at it. But grounding it in truth is a great idea. And actually, I think as a human in the world of AI, our evaluation and analysis skills are going to be 10 times more important, especially in the careers we go into.
Oh, yeah.
So this is good to practice, actually.
Oh, okay. Good to know. Yeah, especially even with like videos and photos that are generated, it's some of the videos have actually got me. I'm like, I didn't know that was, oh, it's getting scary.
Number 3, unless you're really lost, make a best effort to work through the problem on your own before even sending that first prompt. I think that dumping the problem to AI immediately is the fastest way to rob yourself of your learning and thinking. Once I've made a best attempt at the problem, I like to send it, my answer, and a quick breakdown of my thinking process to the AI to ask for feedback.
So on your number 3, where you try the problem out before you just give it to AI, I think that's a great idea. Another approach too, you could try it out yourself, give it to AI, and then you just instruct it saying, prove to me that my explanation is wrong. Force it to find flaws in it, and you actually might deepen your learning. And even if you're 100% correct, it actually might open up different angles you never even considered. So kind of interesting.
Interesting. Yeah, I've since making this video, I've even kind of leaned back and forth between different approaches. Like if I find it really tough to sit down and ingest a textbook.
Yeah.
Which is probably not a unique problem and is a skill that should be learned. But I still, if I'm just completely hopeless at something, so far my first prompt has been, here's the problem, teach me everything that I need to know to understand it, and then I'll make sure using that background, I'll go and start that process.
So interesting enough, I did a survey on LinkedIn a couple months ago, and I asked a couple hundred people that responded how many books they read in a year, and 70% of them said less than one, and 10% said more than 7, and then everyone else was between. So I think it's not unique that most people don't read long form content as much. And AI honestly is a really good search engine and a fancier command Control F on documents using RAG and all that. So
nice. Oh man. Yeah. With the books thing, I'm like, I feel sad. I'm trying to do better, but it's especially really dense textbooks. Like a couple semesters ago for, it'll come up later in the video, but for circuit analysis 2, just the AI was just hopeless. And so I had to really
dig
textbook that. But
it's interesting. Yeah. If you want to test to see how much you write it, try to write a more simplistic version of the textbook yourself.
Oh,
because you're practicing that teach one another thing, except for you just don't know who your audience is yet. But if you write it out, then you kind of are forced to explain it. And if you can't explain it, then you're kind of forced to go look it up and learn it. So
it kind of comes back to the recall idea.
Yeah, kind of.
Teach one another. Okay.
And this leads me to number 2. Ask follow-up questions. Don't be afraid to pester the AI with really stupid questions. Its value as an infinite tutor is unbelievable. Maybe even have it back up a little and explain the base concepts or first principles of something. You could say things like, okay, I thought this, but why is that not true? And just to be clear, what I'm not telling you to do is ignore the textbook. In some cases, the AI is just really not good. Like in ECEN 250, Circuit Analysis 2, I couldn't have even cheated in that class if I wanted to. The AI is just not capable of properly reading an image of a complicated circuit diagram.
It is now.
So every Wednesday, I would sit down for 8 hours and do nothing but read the textbook chapter and work through the example problems. So when it came time to do the homework, I was ready to consult with the AI rather than just blindly trust it to teach me something.
I guess that's kind of recapping what we just talked about, but anything to add?
No, on your number 2, I really do like that. Yeah, I don't know if I have anything to add, actually.
No worries. Yeah.
You actually did a great job on that.
Oh, thank you. And look, if there's anything you're like, hey, hang on a second, buddy. Yeah, feel free to call me out on it. But yeah, okay.
And finally, number 1, avoid copy and pasting like the plague. I kind of briefly touched on this already, but I really want to emphasize it. Having the AI check my answers and give me feedback has been a huge boon for my workflow, but what I never do is have it give me the answer right up front. At the beginning of a study session, I'll prompt with something like, "We're going to do physics homework. For each question, I'll send you the problem and my best answer with an explanation. I'd like you to independently solve the problem, then come back and check my answer. If I didn't get it right, don't give me that answer directly, but instead, give me a quick crash course in the concepts that I need to know to solve the problem by myself. Just always make sure you come to the final answer by yourself. Not just think that you can get to the final answer, but actually do it." And those are my top 5 tips.
Okay, that's it. That's
Yeah, no, I like that. Copying and pasting is kind of lazy a little bit, and I don't think laziness ever really helps you in education that much. You know, in the business world, when you actually go and automate things, laziness kind of, if you want to become lazy, you're automating your job and every part of your job. So it's actually probably a good thing. But in the education world, where you need to actually learn some of these foundational first principle concepts, like you have to put in the time. There's no shortcut to some of that. So I think your point is great. So
okay, thank you. Yeah. Anything you think I should adjust in the future, or anything you'd like to add?
Yeah, I would also add, don't be afraid to use AI. Double check with your professor. Some classes actually don't permit it. So I would respect some of those rules. Make sure you kind of live by academic honesty rules. But if they're cool with it, you find ways to experiment with AI to deepen your learning. Like, for example, I was trying to figure out how transformers work inside of AI models. And so I had to ask me questions and then teach it to me using an analogy. I love analogies. And then I would have to explain it back using a different analogy, and then it would correct me. And like, it actually accelerated how fast I learned about transformers. It was actually pretty cool. It was pretty fun.
Sweet. Yeah, I of course I'm still a student, so I'm just kind of starting out on that, but I still find that circular feedback loop has been really big for me. I think I tend to be really slow with it. Like I'll sit there and really, chomp on something for a few hours, and maybe if I'd actually dedicated time to read the textbook, maybe it could have gone faster, but at least the way I'm doing it right now, I think I'm pretty happy with it.
Yeah.
I guess happy medium.
Awesome. Yeah.
Maybe. And you mentioned learning about transformers. Is there anything in AI development right now that you're most excited about for the next few years?
So all of the AI companies are on this race to AGI, and if you think about it, in the 60s, it was a race to the moon, like all the countries. And today I feel like this is our moon race. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of fun to see all these companies marry physical technology with kind of like intelligent technology and see if they can build useful things. I actually think it's going to transform a lot of the world in ways that we probably don't understand. But because of that, we're now able to accelerate things and to add realism to things. Like, I was doing a little bit of family history yesterday, and I had this really ugly old black and white picture of, like, it was ugly in the sense all the paints were bleeding and it was just not super legible. And I fed it into AI, and I prompted, I said, hey, here's the camera type, focal lens. Here's what you're supposed to do with the image. And it colorized it, and it looks amazing. It kind of brought my ancestors to life a little bit. So it could accelerate and actually bring us closer together as a people too. So kind of cool.
That is exciting. There's a big debate. AGI, is it real? Is it not real? What's the take? It
depends on your definition of AGI, I guess. Like if you're thinking AGI in the sense of it's going to take over the world and humans are just going to be floating bubbles, then probably not.
Okay, good.
But if you think AGI in the sense where it could answer any question or solve any problem better than what a human can, then in that sense, I actually think that is obtainable.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for that.
Cool.
And I think that's about all the time we have. But thank you so much for joining me today. This has been enlightening, I'd say. And for everyone out there, don't cheat on your homework. Yeah, Brother Willden, thank you so much.
Cool. Thank you.